What's going on, all you wild secret agents? The two favorite critics back here for Cinephellas. I'm Logan Myers. It's my good mate over there.
Henry Hill.
And we're coming at you from across the pond in the great land of England to review the film from 2015 and James Bond and Daniel Craig's fourth appearance as this character in Spectre.
So this is the 24th Bond film, and it follows the events of Skyfall, the last Bond film, which we're also going to review. So watch out for the review for Skyfall. But Spectre follows the events of that. We see Bond, and it starts out with a big action piece in Mexico City during the Day of the Dead, and really sets the tone for the rest of the film. It's a really cool intro there, and a great opening action sequence featuring Daniel Craig in a he has a skeleton suit with the top hat. He looks really cool, has a skull mask on, and he's going after this. A member of that secret shadowy organization where he always sees a little octopus logo, which we find out in the film is actually named
Spectre.
That's right, that evil organization. We find out, who the bad people are behind this. All the bad guys, essentially part of this organization. We're introduced to the big bad guy in this film, played by Christoph Waltz as Blofeld. Yes, we know that character from the original old school Connery Bond films, but this is, I guess, a new iteration of that character. And Christoph Waltz does a really great job in this film. But essentially, they're beginning of the film being in Mexico City. M dies in the last film. She was played by Judi Dench. She dies at the Skyfall mansion. She has a video of this person that she wants Bond to track down and find, and that's why he embarks on this journey to find this person. Then coming across the secret organization of Spectre. And this time around, we also have a new character, person that's overseeing everything after M died, and that's
C. Yeah,
the C character introduced in this movie. He's a real asshole, a person that you want Bond to flip out on and kill, because he's a really good bad guy, even though he's working with Bond. But he was pretty interesting. Of course, we have Ralph Fiennes returning as M in this film as well.
Mallory himself, Ray Fiennes, he does a great job taking over for Judi Dench as M in this. I mean, he's the next M, and his name's actually Mallory, so it fits. But he has a nice relationship with Bond. They're trying to keep Bond under lock and key here. They inject some nanobots into his blood in the beginning of the film to keep track of Bond. There's a heavy theme of surveillance in this film, I will say, with C's character. He wants to establish this big kind of national security with cameras everywhere and wants to be able to track everybody. And you have Bond fighting against that. He gets these trackers put in, but then he has Q disable them for a couple of days while he goes out on this mission to find out about these figures in Spectre, which eventually leads him to Christoph Waltz, like you said. And through that relationship, he ends up meeting Madeline Swann, plays like a psychiatrist, psychologist, one of the two, talks to Bond, and then he finds out more about her and her involvement with Oberhauser. We find out he's, Christoph Waltz's character has been going by Oberhauser. So what this film does is, they keep the Blofeld thing secret up until the end. They didn't want to play all their cards right away, but something happens towards the end, and then you get the classic look of Blofeld from back in the Connery days. They make Waltz look pretty similar to that with the scar on the eye and everything. But they find out that he's at the helm of all this stuff, and he has a henchman in this one that sets up some really great action with Daniel Craig and Dave Bautista. He's this big, brooding, obviously massive dude that looks unstoppable. There's some great car chase scenes between Bond and the Aston Martin, and then Bautista behind him in like a Ferrari or Lamborghini. Really cool chase scene there, and a really awesome fight scene in the train. Really brutal hand-to-hand combat, throwing each other through things, just battling it out to the death. And I loved all those sequences with them. There's some really great villains in this one, some really formidable opponents for Bond, especially in Spectre here.
Yeah, and we have Sam Mendes returning to direct this film. Obviously, he directed Skyfall, probably one of the best Bond films ever, but he returns, and it obviously shows in this movie because it looks absolutely beautiful yet again. The set pieces, the action, all the stunts, everything they pull off in this movie is ridiculous. The beginning part of the movie, a helicopter and motorcycles and, big shootouts and things like that. And then the train scene and leading up until the end, it was really awesome. So Mendes returning, this is really well done, well directed film, and you can see visually this is a movie you want to see in the theater for sure. Speaking of that train scene, you had Dave Bautista playing Hinks. He's more like the modern Jaws, like from back in the day films. Like that's what he reminded me of, and obviously it didn't last too long.
You learn a big secret in this film about how Bond and Blofeld are actually, they have a history together, and you find out a pretty big secret that goes in line with the rest of the story from Skyfall and Sam Mendes' other film. He returns here and he knocks this one out of the park too. Had a great time revisiting this the other day. I saw it in theaters initially, and I rewatched it the other day, and it holds up. It looks great. Like you mentioned, everything looks awesome. They really did a great job on those action sequences, and just the way he films big landscapes and on the mountains and the snow. Everything looks great in this. They really put together some really awesome action sequences for Bond to show off his skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And Madeline Swann really is the secret weapon MVP of this movie, with her chemistry with James, and the relationship that forms into the last movie, No Time to Die. You see where that goes. I thought she was definitely one of the better Bond girls as well. Really pulled off this performance. I like what she did with this character. It's more in depth. There's more substance to her character. Also finding out about more of her family and how she's knows certain bad guys and things like that. So I liked how they what they did with her character, and I thought she did a really great job.
I agree with you. You need a good Bond girl for every Bond film. And, she really made her mark on these Daniel Craig films, especially, with this one and the next one, the last Daniel Craig Bond film that we're going to cover. She really came in and did some great work in here, and is obviously a beautiful lady, which you need a Bond girl to be. So she looks great. And Bond has, his love. He lost his love at the beginning with Vesper, but now he has Madeline Swann. So everything's good in Bond's world. He's able to defeat Blofeld in the end, of course, and save the day and live on to fight. And he'll be back one more time with No Time to Die.
One more time. Yeah, this Spectre's divided by fans. Some love it, some hate it. I don't see the hate. I thought this movie overall, everything about it was pretty solid across the board. Visually stunning, great set pieces, great action scenes. Daniel Craig was top notch as always. Madeline Swann's character introduction I thought was really good. Dave Bautista, obviously Christoph Waltz playing Blofeld. I thought he was one of the better villains as well, and finally having the iconic scar on his face and seeing how that comes about, and then leading into the final film. I thought across the board, directing, visually, cinematography was really great. Beautiful landscapes in this film, really ups the ante, especially in this movie leading up until the end. I thought it was all great across the board. Had a great time with Spectre, finally getting around to seeing this for the first time. It's definitely a movie I would watch again and definitely pick up on 4K. So that being said, I'm going to give Sam Mendes' Spectre a 4 out of 5. Christoph Waltz, hair pieces.
Spectre returned. James Bond continued on his story from Skyfall. Sam Mendes did a great job continuing the story and giving Bond some finality with the Spectre organization. He thinks he's going to be all good after this. Of course, we know there's going to be one more film, but as far as Spectre goes, he's able to take down the whole organization. They're able to stop C from doing his grand plan of putting surveillance everywhere to track everybody. Yeah, he's an asshole character. He gets what's coming to him at the end, which was great to see. I had a great time with the film too. I didn't really have any issues with it. I just think Skyfall's, a little more strong than this, but hey, that's a high watermark for that. This is still a fun film, a great film to watch, and one of the best Bond films there are, in my opinion. Daniel Craig's probably my second or third. I don't know. It's a toss-up between this and No Time to Die. I like them about as much the same. With that being said, I'm going to give Spectre a 4 out of 5 Madeline Swann hairpieces. Oh, James, come back to bed.
So we're interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on Spectre. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite Daniel Craig Bond film? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Ooh, nice touch, James. Also, check out these wild British rascals over on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Cinephellas.com for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
Ooh, you really spit that out really nicely. These two international man of mysteries are finished with this review of Spectre. It's time to go watch Austin Powers and get shagadelic, babies. Until the next Cinephellas classic movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Bond. Logan Bond.
Cheers, lads.
Until next time. Cheers!